Rayna, Gillman, it's Alex Anderson. How are you today?
I'm fine, Alex. How are you? It's good to be talking to you.
It's great to be talking to you, and technology almost won, but nuh-uh. We are on top of things here.
We are. We did an amazing job today.
Yay! So I am really excited about hearing about your new book. I was surfing your website, and I think I'm going to end up in one of your classes.
That would be fun.
I behave.
You don't have to behave in my class.
Okay. Well, tell us about your new book and your style.
Well, my style. Here's the cover of my new book.
And it's
Create your own freeform quilts.
Okay, and it's like hot. It's like right off the press, right?
It's right off the press. I just got my own copy, as a matter of fact, and it's available on my website, a personally signed copy, which I've been sending out.
And what's your website?
Well, it's actually on my blog. It's http studio78notes.blogspot.com.
Okay. Well, I have to say that I'm not kidding. I was surfing your site, and your work really spoke to me. Show us a piece and kind of explain your style. Do you mind?
I don't mind at all. I will show you I'll show you one piece. I'll show you a couple.
Okay, cool. I said cool.
Cool, okay. This one, which is called Jazz Fest. Can you see it?
Yes. It's wonderful. It's so spontaneous.
And I'll tell you how I got to it. You can see right here. These are strips that have been sewn together. And thrown into a box.
Oh, the phone's ringing. John's going to get it.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll give you a quick history of how I started. About 10 years ago, I was in a funk, let's put it that way, a creative hole in the ground where I couldn't think what I wanted to do next. And my friend Helene said to me, Rayna, when all else fails, sew strips. And I said, huh? She said, just take your rotary cutter and slice up strips and sew them together, and don't worry about what you're going to do with them. Throw them in a box, and at some point you'll get to them. So that's exactly what I did. I called it therapy sewing. And in fact, these strips are from that time. At that point, I wasn't printing so much of my own fabric as I have in the last 10 years. And this was just from my stash. Sewed them together, threw them into a box, and sewed a whole bunch more. And when I got sick and tired of sewing, I decided to take them out and do something with them. But to me, these were boring. What am I going to do with them? I don't know. Maybe I'll cut them up and see what happens. So my two words for everything are what if. What if? What if I were to cut them and put something out, put another strip in between, and then cut them again and reconfigure them? Where would I be going? So in fact, I still have these left from what I did with some of those strips.
I love it.
And I haven't done anything with these three yet, and maybe I never will. But anyway, I had a whole bunch of these made from the original strips where I just added and changed and moved. And I ended up making something very simple, this 9-patch. But it was a 9-patch with all of the pieces that I had cut from the strip sets I'd reconfigured. And I thought it was kind of fun. And so that was really the beginning. And then I went back to printing, and every time I got into another creative desert, I sat down and sewed strips. And I threw them into a box. And I really, after a while, I had quite an inventory of strip sets and squares. If I had a scrap left over that was a square, I just put something around it, or I would put something through it. And where are we? Just very simple things. So in the last couple of years, I have to say, my husband was sick and I was a caregiver, and I couldn't really concentrate on being very creative. So I went back to my therapy sewing. And I sat down and I sewed and I sewed and I sewed. And what has come out of that are a couple of things that have quite a different look from the Jazz Fest that I showed you. This is one. This is one called Storm Warning, and it's just very simple. It's stripped, sewn together, and then just put on a background.
I am loving this. Is it applique on the background or something, or what?
Yeah, it is. I just I just raw edged it.
Uh-huh.
And the combination of fabrics are batiks, my own handprints, and hand dyes, because you can put anything together, and it doesn't make any difference.
So you're on the professional circuit. If somebody took a class from you and we're a couple-day class, would you like spend one day printing fabric and the next day like chopping it up, or what?
Actually, that I can't do that in 2 days. I've done that. When I taught at QSDS a few years ago, we spent 2 days or 3 days printing fabric, and then the other 2 days making something with it. So yes, and that's really in a way jump-starting the art quilt, if you will. Print original fabric, make original quilts. You can call it what you wish. So it's very simple. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. This is the latest one I've done, which is very... I sat down and sewed yellow strips when I needed some sunshine in my life. And it's called Harvest. Again, it's mostly hand dyes, but I did put some of my own fabrics into it here and there.
You have a sensibility in your work that I think is it's just lovely.
Thank you. And the way I work, which is really very spontaneous, is that I take all of these pieces, throw them at the wall, and see what sticks.
Oh, come on. Seriously?
No. Yeah, seriously. I have, for example, what I've been doing also, and I'll show you, I've been working with UFOs. I have a trunk full of...
Everybody does.
Okay, ugly. And what if I chopped it up and did something with it? What would I get? And so that's this block. I did the same thing with one of its sister blocks. Where are we? So, and it's just completely spontaneous. And the thing with this is you can make something from nothing, and you don't have to think ahead. Just slash and burn.
Okay.
Slash and sew.